How has Beat City impacted your personal life?
I've been on the receiving end of Colleen and Dylan's generosity. I mean, like, since they opened the store in Allegheny, it really didn't take shape until I started trying to do this, instrument repair business with a total, lack of anything other than the gumption and the drive to be helpful to them because they've been helpful to me.
Do you have a personal favorite memory of Beat City?
My favorite memory, or maybe there's a couple memories, back when they were in Allegheny, and they've done it a couple of times in Olean, they used to do this thing called Songwriters Tea, where they'd have one or two groups or individuals come in and do like an hour set of all original music. And those always drew a really great crowd, and it was always incredible to see the talent that, we have in this area be on full display. Which kind of ties into one of the reasons why, this is so important, is because we have so many talented, creative people, musicians, artists all over. I mean, without a place for them to be, to congregate, to share their love of what they do, would we have that same community? Would we have all of these really great players all isolated from each other because there's nowhere for them to get together and be?
So what would you say their role is?
Well, it's kind of like your first impression is it's a music shop, it's a guitar store. And on a surface level, sure, you could walk in and kind of make that assumption and walk out the doors, and you wouldn't be totally far off. But I think that the difference is really in that level of connection that we have in this community, is that ability to, you walk in the door and it's not just because you need a new set of strings or you're just window shopping. It can turn into a whole conversation about, who are you? Why are you here? Why do you, what brought you in? Oh, well, some interesting story about this, that, the other thing. I love to walk into small music shops whenever I'm in. There's people from all over the place that I've seen come in the doors just because I figured I'd check it out, and you meet really cool, interesting people, not just from our community, but from all over the world. I've had people from overseas come in on a day I was in, and it's like, just being able to connect and share just a conversation. And who are you? Where are you from? What brings you in? It's just, it's cool. It's amazing. It's, you can't get that at Guitar Center.
How has Beat City supported and or encouraged your personal creative journey?
Yeah, so maybe about a year and a half ago, I was let go from my job. And there was an opportunity in front of me to buy a bunch of equipment from the Horn Doctor and start learning how to repair brass woodwind instruments, maintain them. And the only reason that I was able to make that leap, having no knowledge, no experience, nothing but the means to get the tools and, the drive to give back to Colleen and Dylan and the musical community at large, I guess. It's really, if I didn't have their support, I wouldn't be doing it. I wouldn't even be trying. I would have, ended up with some job somewhere else instead of trying to build my own business, essentially. I never would have in my wildest dreams seen myself here. And the only reason I had the confidence to even try was because Colleen was right next to me saying, Steve, you should do this. You can do this. Give it a shot. And, you know, knowing that I had people in my corner supporting me gave me that confidence to be able to push through any uncertainty I had and said, yeah, this is totally new, uncharted territory. You know, I don't know, maybe if it's so creative as far as, you know, my personal musical journey goes, but as far as my personal journey goes, even beyond creativity, they've taught me so much about being resilient and persevering and, you know, just sticking to it and believing even when it's tough.
Why do you think it's important for Beat City to remain thriving in this community?
I think it's important because we don't have anything else like it. And if Beat City goes, we won't have anything else like it.
How would you describe it to someone who's never been here?
I would describe it as, you know, come as you are, but also be prepared to challenge your limits and your beliefs. Because one of the things that I've learned through connecting with and ingraining myself in this community is that not everything's easy, but it's all a part of the journey, and it's all a part of trying to develop yourself, because that's what music is. Music is developing ourselves to get better at a craft and to create something. And that same lesson is, you know, you take it out of music and you just apply it to anything. There's so many important lessons that can be learned through music and art that are much harder to understand without that connection, because it's personal. It grabs you by the seed of who you are, and it brings that out. And that's something that this community that we have is so good at, is drawing out the best in the people who engage.
In one sentence, how would you summarize the experience of Beat City?
One sentence.
Gets harder.
The best damn place on earth. One word? That's even harder, isn't it? Love. For me, it's love. Because that's what it all boils down to. I know this is more than a word, but now you're stuck with it. You know, I love music. It's been something that's been there for me ever since I made that connection with it. And man, that's what we're all here about. We all love this stuff. We eat, breathe, drink, sleep it. And if you do, you might just find that you've got a place here.
Is there anything else that you'd like to add about Beat City and its importance to the community?
This is an incredible resource for the size of community that we have, because we're not a huge place. We're economically struggling. Everybody in the area, I think, would not have a hard time, you know, agreeing with that. And I think that that is what's so important about it, is that this is the place where, you know, kind of in spite of it all, we're hanging in, scrappy, trying to maintain a space for creativity in the community, one that is easily accessible. That's tough. That's tough in a place like Olean. And yet it's so valuable because, I think a lot about our teenagers who've been jamming out on the sidewalk this summer. And some of them are coming in from like Shingle House and stuff for a couple hours on a Thursday or Friday to get together with some other people their age just to play. And that right there is the essence of it, because we can bring people together here, because there's a community for people here. And you know what? People come for it. They come from quite a ways away just to play music, to make art, to connect with people who are like-minded. And if we don't have that, where do those people go? Where do those connections get made? Where's the next great band? It could be from Olean, New York. But if we don't have a community to support young players, they're just going to end up playing in their bedrooms by themselves. And that's sad. There's so many great players. Let's give them a place to connect. All ages, any ages. There's so much. Like I said earlier, there's so many amazingly talented people in our area. And we need more spaces for those people to thrive and stretch, not fewer. We need more beat cities, not less.
What do you feel about the general manager?
Well, that's my grandmother, so I can't say anything too bad about her.
And you are?
I'm Steve Capitani. I'm President, CEO, and Chief Ballistician of Hornigan Instrument Repair. And I owe a whole hell of a lot to Colleen and Dylan for being supportive of me over so many years.